Postgres CPU hit 100%, queries timing out after 30 seconds, and the log screamed out of shared memory. The culprit, a single subreddit rpix, had 2 million comments on one post, and the recursive CTA used to fetch the comment tree blew through the default 4 MB workmem, spilling to disk and thrashing I/O. Here's exactly why. But first, let's cover the basics of designing Reddit at scale. Welcome to TheCodeForge. Before we dig into that production issue, let's cover Design Reddit. Reddit is a social news platform where users submit posts, vote, comment, and organize into subreddits. The challenge is handling high write throughput, real-time feeds, and hierarchical data at scale. The architecture separates read and write paths, uses distributed databases, caching, and message queues. Start with the data model. Reddit's core entities are users, posts, comments, votes, and subreddits. At scale, joins become death. Denormalize strategically. Store score in posts, use materialized paths for comments, and enforce one vote per user per post with a composite primary key. Here's the schema. Posts are partitioned by subreddited to distribute write load. Comments use ltree for materialized paths, enabling efficient thread fetches. Votes have a composite primary key to enforce one vote per user per post. Don't use a single auto-increment ID for posts across all subreddits. You'll get hotspot writes on the index. Partition by subreddited to distribute write load. Voting is the hottest path. Every upvote or downvote is a write. If you update the post score synchronously, you'll serialize all writes to the same post. The fix: decouple vote recording from score update. Write to Kafka for durability, update Redis for immediate read, and let a consumer batch update the database. Here's the vote casting function. It writes to Kafka for durability, updates Redis for immediate read, and returns success immediately. The database update happens asynchronously. The classic rookie mistake is updating the post score in the same transaction as the vote insert. That causes row-level locks on the post row, and under high concurrency, you'll see deadlock-detected errors. Reddit's front page and subreddit feeds are the most read data. Generating them on the fly is impossible. Instead, pre-compute the feed for each subreddit every few minutes and cache it. For the home feed, merge top posts from subscribed subreddits. Use a hybrid fan-out on write for active users and pull for the rest. This function gets the home feed. It first tries the user-specific fan-out cache. If not found, it falls back to pulling top posts from each subscribed subreddit's cached feed and merges them using a heap. Subreddits are the natural partition key. Each subreddit is independent. Shard your database by subreddited so a hot subreddit lives on its own shard. Use consistent hashing to map subreddit IDs to shards. For cross-subreddit queries, query all relevant shards in parallel and merge results. Use a lookup table to map subreddit IDs to shard IDs. Load it into memory on startup. If a subreddit grows too hot, update its sharded and migrate data asynchronously. Don't use auto-increment IDs across shards. Use UUIDs or snowflake IDs for global uniqueness. Otherwise, you'll get collisions when merging data. Reddit's read-to-write ratio is about 80-20. Use 3 caching layers: Content Delivery Network for static assets, Redis for hot data like feed and scores, and memcached for less hot data. Use cache-aside pattern, on miss, load from DB and populate cache. Here's a cache-aside example for post metadata. On cache miss, load from DB and set with a 5-minute TTL. Cache only post IDs and scores in the feed, not full objects, to reduce cache size. Cache Stampede. When a popular cache key expires, thousands of requests hit the DB simultaneously. Use a mutex lock or probabilistic early expiration to refresh the cache before it expires. For real-time comments, use WebSockets. When a user posts a comment, the server broadcasts it to all clients viewing that post via Redis PubSub. Use a fan-out approach. Each WebSocket server subscribes to a channel per post. Send only the comment ID to reduce bandwidth. This code broadcasts a comment ID to all subscribers of a post's channel. On WebSocket Connect, subscribe to the channel and forward messages to the client. For search, use Elasticsearch. Index posts with fields like title, body, subreddited, etc. Keep the index in sync using a change data capture pipeline. Debezium reads the Postgres WAL and pushes changes to Kafka, then a consumer updates Elasticsearch. Batch index comments every 30 seconds to reduce cost. This consumer reads post changes from Kafka and indexes them into Elasticsearch. It keeps the search index near real time without dual write complexity. This architecture is overkill for a small community. For a small Reddit clone, a single Postgres instance with proper indexing and caching is sufficient. Only invest in the distributed architecture when you have 1M DAU or anticipate rapid growth. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. A single post in rpix had 2 million comments. The recursive CTE used to fetch the comment tree consumed all workmem, default 4MB, and spilled to disk. Thrashing I/O Postgres CPU hit 100%, queries timed out, and the container ran out of memory. The fix was to set workmem to 64 MB and replace the recursive CTE with a materialized path approach using the ltree extension. We added a GSD index on the path column. This allowed fetching the entire thread with a single index scan, avoiding disk spills. Recursive queries on hierarchical data at scale are a trap. Always use materialized paths or nested sets for comment trees. The recursive CTE consumes all workmem and spills to disk, killing performance. The ltree extension used for materialized paths is available in PostgreSQL 9.1+, but may not be installed by default. On managed cloud databases, e.g., Relational Database Service, Cloud SQL, you may need to request superuser privileges or use a different approach like a text column with a GIN trigram index. The article mentions async vote processing, but doesn't show how to handle duplicate votes in the consumer. Here's a pattern using insert on conflict do update to ensure exactly one vote per user per post. When a subreddit feed cache expires, thousands of requests can hit the database simultaneously. Use a mutex, e.g., Redis setNX, to allow only one process to regenerate the cache, or use probabilistic early expiration to refresh before TTL ends. Here's how to debug common issues. Check Redis TTL and feed keys. Verify the feed generation cron job. Check Kafka consumer lag for vote updates. Use explain analyze to ensure ltree index is being used. Let's run through some common interview questions. How to handle a sudden vote spike on a single post. Offload to Kafka, use Redis INCR batch update DB. When to use fanout v's pull for feeds. Fanout for active users, pull for lurkers, hybrid approach. How to handle a hot subreddit, split into multiple partitions by hash of posted, scale shard. And a few frequently asked questions. How does Reddit handle vote contention? Offload to Kafka, batch update DB, Redis for immediate read. What's the difference between fanout and pull? Fanout pushes at write time, pull generates on request. How to store comment trees efficiently? Use materialized path with ltree and GSD index. To recap, decouple vote writes from score updates using a message queue. Use materialized paths for comment trees to avoid recursive CTEs. Partition by subreddited to isolate hot subreddits. Cache feed aggressively with a hybrid fanout pull strategy. Ready to go deeper? Up next, design Tinder, then design Spotify, then design Zoom. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.